Welcome to the show. My name is James Neilson-Watts, and in this show, we interview interesting, inspiring, and successful people so you can learn the secrets to success and can play the game of life, business, health, and happiness better. And the philosophy we take here is if I'm leveling up my game, you get to level up yours as well. So get ready to listen to some inspiring people who have figured out how to have success in all areas of life. Health, happiness, wealth, business. We're going to be interviewing them in this show so that you can learn the secrets to success that they share with practical advice that you can take and use today. So if you enjoy the show, please subscribe, please leave us a review, and please share it with your friends, because if I can help you and you can help others, then we can help more people together and we can all level up our game together. My guest today is David Meltzer, the CEO of Sports One Marketing, one of the world's leading sports and entertainment marketing agencies, and formerly served as CEO of the renowned Leigh Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency, which was the inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. He's a 3-time international best-selling author, a top 100 business coach, the executive producer of Entrepreneur's #1 digital business show, Elevator Pitch, and host of the top entrepreneur podcast, The Playbook. His newest book, Game Time Decision Making, was the #1 new release. David has been recognized by Variety magazine as their Sports Humanitarian of the Year and awarded the Ellis Island Medal of Honor. He's also profiled by national publications such as Entrepreneur, Forbes, ESPN, Bloomberg, CNBC, Yahoo, SB Nation, and Variety. Welcome to the show, David. Super excited to have you on. Can you give us a little intro so that our audience can get connected with you?
Yeah, sure. I'm a speaker, author, entrepreneur, executive producer of TV and movie, inspirational and aspirational sports content, entrepreneurial content. Speak around the world. I have Elevator Pitch, 2-Minute Drill, Office Hours, Bloomberg, Amazon shows. I ran the most notable sports agency in the world, and I also ran the world's first smartphone division of Samsung. So I've had an eclectic background, millionaire in my 20s, lost it all in my 30s, and have gained it back now here at 53 with one mission in mind: to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, to find 1,000 people around the world like James, who I know will empower 1,000 to empower 1,000, simply to be happy, to make more money, help more people, have more fun, enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of their own potential, unifying the world in happiness and abundance.
I love that, and I love that you just brought that up, because that was what I wanted to talk to you about first, is talking about this idea of consistent and persistent pursuit of your potential, and how we can find happiness in this pursuit. I know that for me, when I sort of started to realize this organically, before I even exposed these ideas and watching your stuff, it's allowed me to achieve a lot more. So can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I think there's 2 paradigm shifts in the statement of enjoying the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. The first paradigm shift is that Chris Gardner, a friend of mine, wrote a book called Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith starred in the movie Pursuit of Happiness. And I tell both of them all the time, when I see them, you got it wrong. Happiness is the pursuit. There is no pursuit of happiness. We are happy when we're pursuing something. And if we pursue what we want, we'll be very happy. If we pursue the right things, we'll be very happy. If we pursue what other people want for us, what we don't need, if we pursue to impress other people, if we pursue things to impress people we don't like, if we pursue what's missing in our life, if we pursue what we don't want in our life, we're not going to be happy. So we need to enjoy the consistent every day. And consistency to me is the magical dust of success. The key to all success comes with consistent behavior. And that's because that's how the conscious continuum works. The conscious, subconscious, and unconscious receives, processes, and stores data through consistent behavior. And then through consistent behavior, it's the catalyst to persistence. See, the only reason you won't get what you want is you quit. Because eventually, if you stay towards and angled towards what you want with the great faith of GPS, of faith, that you'll reroute yourself and end up in a better place, a better position, or make your position better, everything will turn out in an abundant manner. Even though you living your life in a persistent behavior, you still have the patience to allow things to happen for the better.
I think that people quit too soon because they're looking for this feedback externally. And I was talking to Carol and Ray on the show recently, and we talked about this concept of intrinsic drive and extrinsic drive. And they had children where you had children who loved doing art, children who would do it anyway, right? Kids who liked doing art and they'd probably choose to do it, but it wasn't as much as the other kids. And then you had kids who didn't really like doing art, and they gave them participation awards. And sure enough, the kids who loved art did it. The ones who liked it did it. And the ones who didn't like it did it because they were getting a reward. But then they continued the study, and those kids didn't do it again because they never wanted to do art in the first place. And the ones who actually originally had loved it began not liking it as much because they were being extrinsically rewarded for the participation in the thing that they intrinsically like to do. And it's like money, right? If we're doing things for the money, we eventually get sick of it. And it's that age-old money doesn't make us happy. And I love what you said, right? It's not the pursuit of happiness. Happiness, I think a lot of people miss that, and it affects their ability to have success because they give up far too soon. I felt that myself.
Yeah, and what happens is through positive behavior, we expect results. And the funny thing is, through negative behavior, we don't expect results. So when we're doing things right, we are too impatient. We expect the results to become apparent immediately. Oh, I'm working really hard. I'm dieting. I'm working out. We expect these good results immediately. Well, it's funny because when we do negative things, we don't expect the results fast, right? Oh, I'll be fine. I'll smoke my whole life. I'll drink my whole life. I'll sit on my mom's couch and get high. It won't ever affect me. It doesn't make any sense, right? That's where the consistent, persistent nature. Now, what you're talking about in the intrinsic and the extrinsic attachment is that the emotions, right, the energy that we put in motion, we cannot attach to an outcome. Whether you inherently or quantumly love something, or if you quantumly like it, and or if you quantumly don't like it. I associate everything to nutrition because it's very obvious. Why is it that you and I could walk by a food stand and you would say, "Oh, I love kiwis," and I would say, "Oh, I hate kiwis," and yet neither of us may have even ever tried a kiwi, right?
Mm.
Neither of us. There's an inherent uh, frequency between us and other things. Well, the key to life through this enjoyment of the pursuit, the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent behavior, detached from the outcome. No participation awards, no trophies, no Super Bowls, but simply enjoying the expansion of ourselves, the pursuit of our potential. The nice thing about it is we can learn. See, I would much rather teach the kids who hate art to learn to love art, to learn to find the light, the love, and the lessons to art. So, for example, it may be the type of art that's not inherently at the frequency of the people that don't like it. So, by exposing them to different types of art, they may find an art that they like. They may have never imagined that sculpturing is art, or music is art, or sports are art, or whatever it may be. So we need to teach people to find the light, the love, and the lessons, to seek and to gain the ability to learn to love what they do, but most importantly, to detach, not attach. See, that test or that survey, whatever they did there with those kids, they were reinforcing them the wrong way. They were making them attached to an outcome instead of teaching them to attach to the journey or the enjoyment of the behavior, the pursuit.
100%. It illustrates that point perfectly. And I've noticed that myself. It's like when things are going good, what do? I say it's me and I'm amazing and everything's incredible. And when things are not going good, I worry and I attack what I'm doing and I try and have, shiny objects. Which next strategy can I try? And when I started to detach from the outcome and focused on how I was growing and what I was, maybe wrong choice of words, so to speak, achieving, but for myself and not the outcome, I didn't have these ups and downs and I could be more consistent. And for me, it was when the headspace is consistent, then I was able to actually progress effectively. And some people get enrolled in that. They're always looking for the win and they get so down when they get a loss because they're attached to both.
Right. And they're focused in on the wrong thing. Remember, there's a mathematical equation of luck. What you pay attention to and what you give your intention to, that thing that you're talking about right now, thinking, saying, doing, believing, all these different things, attention plus intention equal the coincidences of your life. In other words, people will think you're lucky because you keep on coinciding with what you want. And they'll say, "Oh, he's lucky." No, he's just paying attention and giving intention to what he wants, not what other people want for him, not what's missing or not what he doesn't want. Simply knowing the 5 daily practices of what, who, how, now, and why in order to effectuate the attention and intention to getting exactly the coincidence that he's looking for.
Like all the people I talk to, no matter which area they've achieved success in, there's patterns. And the patterns are getting guidance from someone who's already done it or knows some stuff, stop trying to figure it out yourself. And the other one is mindset. The biggest struggle that I have with friends, family, and people around me who aren't maybe achieving what they want is they get repelled by this idea that, you know, success is a mindset, because they don't understand the game that we're talking about right now. And I think that's super powerful.
Yeah, I think there's 3 areas, right? I get frustrated as well trying to align people, allow them to share in the awareness of, one, your mindset, right? We give meaning to everything that you see. Two, don't forget your heart set, that you have control of how you feel about things. And then three, where I've incorporated these 5 daily practices of mine, is the conscious continuum of what you think, say, do, and believe, right? There is habits that can be formed, a habit machine that can be created by these 5 daily practices of knowing your what, knowing your who, knowing your how, knowing your now, prioritizing those things, and of course, applying your why. And I give those daily practices as well as my book to everybody. You know, they just got to email me, david@dmeltzer.com. And I change lives. I empower over 1 billion people to be happy simply by giving them 5 daily practices to follow. The hardest part, and even for me, is to be consistent at following them. You know, I tell people, say thank you every day, it'll change your life. It took me 9 months before I could say thank you every day without forgetting a day, just for 30 straight days. That's how hard it is to be consistent.
Yeah. Now with this, I've heard you talk about, you know, ego being the fear of loss. How do you think ego gets in the way, especially with what we're talking about right now?
Well, the idea of ego is the primary, primal fears. Number one, when ego comes into play, there's certain things that trigger the ego. There's the, you know, flight, feed, fight, or the other F word that Gary Vee here in America uses a lot. But what happens when you're in ego-based consciousness is all the blood leaves your brain and goes to your body so you can fight, flee, feed, or the other F word. And that's not a good way to use your higher power of thinking. It's not a good way to pursue your potential to be your higher self when your blood is out of your brain and in your biceps. It's a great way to fight, great way to get fed, great way to run away, great way to the other F word, but not going to help you to use your higher power of thinking. So, what I talk about with ego is understanding, number one, that I am already happy. I am already healthy. I am already wealthy. I am already worthy. It's what am I doing to interfere with it? What triggers are there? The people, places, things, ideas. What triggers those ego-based responses that takes me out of my higher consciousness? Well, the need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be separate of any kind, the need to be inferior, the need to be superior, the need to be angry, frustrated, anxious. You talked about the need to be worried, right? Worrying is wishing for what you don't want. You put your attention and intention on wishing for what you don't want, you're going to get what you don't want. You know, so many, you're young enough to remember, you know, oh, I hope that question's not on the test. I hope that question's on the test. I hope that question's on the test. You're guaranteeing that question is probably the first question on the test. So understanding the needs of the ego, resentment, guilt, added on to those other ones that I previously aforementioned, you can all of a sudden create a practice to end fear in your life, a practice to identify what triggers the primal fears, then stop instead of resisting it, fighting it, go overing it, under it, through it. Simply stop, breathe through your nose, out through your mouth, find your higher self, put the blood back into your brain, basically, put the blood back into your brain from your biceps, and then roll in the right trajectory, the one in which you determined earlier by the 5 daily practices, because I know what I want today. I know what I want personally, experientially, giving wise, receiving wise. I know who could help me and who I could help. I know how to get it by utilizing the mathematical equation of luck, being a student of my calendar, being efficient, effective, and statistically successful. And then I prioritize by what's most important first by knowing my now. And that allows me to apply this why and to understand and identify the triggers of the ego to make sure I'm maximizing the trajectory of my pursuit, the trajectory of my enjoyment of the consistent everyday, persistent without quit pursuit of my higher self, my higher thinking, my higher being, my potential.
This is bringing so many things together for me. I got a page of notes. Um, if we start with I am already, that prevents the ego from having to make us more, and therefore we eat to satisfy, we fight to satisfy, right? We get anxious to satisfy because there's a control thing there. I've been through anxiety, and then the other F word, where we're looking for something to replace, and for me it's been that too. I'm loving this. I'm loving this interview. It's bringing things together for me. It's like, yeah, I already am, and if I already am, then I'm not doing it to satisfy a need, an ego need. I'm doing it for fulfillment and my happiness. And I know that, see, who I am now and my ability to bring you on the show has, I'm dramatically different and had to grow and progress to who I was 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. And I love that. I'm loving the growth, the high thinking side of things. This is really good.
Well, that was a really great understanding, and I love that regurgitation and summarization because it's not what I say all the time; it's what people hear, and so it makes my heart rejoice that I'm clearly communicating to someone like you a firm understanding of exactly what I mean. And I'm just going to add this real quick because it may help you. There's only three laws to worry about, and the first law most people skip over. It's the law of gravity. The law of gravity says I am. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm at the right place at the perfect time. I am happy. I am healthy, wealthy, worthy, whatever it is. I am already. Then you institute the law of Goya. The law of Goya says get off your ass and clear away any interference between you and what you already are. And then that speaks to, it sends a frequency, an indicator, a beacon to your quantum self. We talked earlier about this quantum vibration, this quantum frequency. Well, that is your personality traits, your characteristics, obsessions, and addictions that have been formulated by the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Why is that important? Because it's that quantum being, the genetic makeup with the epigenetic activation layer, that is a beacon to the universe to attract what you want. And the clearer the connection, the less interference there is between your beacon and what already exists in an abundant universe of more than enough of everything for everyone, an abundant universe that sits with limitlessness and infinity. So it already has everything. You now can call upon anything and everything more rapidly and accurately because you've used the law of gravity, Goya, and attraction to allow things to happen because you already are, and you're not searching for what's missing, what you don't want, or what other people want for you.
I just thought I'd add, I was taught by Bruce Lipton about immunology and epigenetics when I was going through college. I had the pleasure of having him as a professor, so I'm very familiar with that. I love it.
Very smart dude.
Um, we all have a reason why we're doing things. Some of us are just more aware of it, I would say. And I think that the more aware we are of why we're doing something, the more clear we can be, the more intentional we can be as to, is that why serving me or not, and are the actions serving me? I'd love to know your reason why, sort of why you do what you do.
So my why is the same, I believe, as everyone else's. I call it applying my why. My why is to be of service or value. My why is to clear the connection between me and the greatest source of light, love, and lessons and power that ever existed and everything else. My why is to allow that power, those light, that lesson to come through me with appreciation, with gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability to inspire, to clear the connection between me and everything else and everyone else, to empower them to do the same, to elevate them, to liberate their light the same way that I'm liberating mine, to not diminish my capacity to make other people feel better around me so that they instead can be empowered and inspired to liberate themselves. In other words, my why is to empower people to be happy and to empower other people to be happy. That's the only way it scales. I can't reach 1 billion people myself, but I certainly, especially with my platform, can reach 1,000 people And through the values that I teach, the daily practices, my books, which I send to everyone for free, david@dmeltzer.com, I can empower 1,000 to empower 1,000 to empower 1,000. Because if I can create a collective consciousness of over 1 billion people on earth, simply to be abundant, to live in the world of more than enough, to be happy, one little particle of light overcomes 1 million particles of darkness. You can imagine what a collective consciousness of abundance and happiness would do to the entire world. And when I realized that I myself had that light, that power, that I'm not afraid of the mountain that I talk about in front of me, that other people can't even conceive or perceive to be possible, let alone probable, let alone their perspective. When I see those mountains, all I say to myself is, I don't need to go over it, under it, through it, around it. That which made the mountain is inside of me. That which made the mountain walks besides me. I'm already connected to and through that great source that built that mountain. And I am here to help other people build their own mountains, to help others build their own mountains. And, it's so exciting to be on this journey of applying my why and seeing and planting seeds that I may never sit under, for trees that I may never sit under, but I know I'm planting seeds.
I love it. Last question. What's the most valuable thing you ever learned?
Kindness. The power of vulnerability and kindness, to ask for help, to be kind to my future self by doing good deeds. If I could leave one legacy when it's all over, from my wife, my family, my 4 children, the community that I built, I would love just simply, David Meltzer is kind.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We ran over a little bit of time, but where can our audience connect with you and find out more about your mission and what you're up to?
I would love it. I do free Friday trainings. I have tons of content. The Playbook is the #1 podcast. Download that. David@dmeltzer. My books, my guides, my exercise, 5 daily practices, all types of templates. Everything's free. David@dmeltzer.com. I answer my own emails. So I'd love to hear from anyone and everyone. David@dmeltzer.com.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate you.
Let's do it again, James. I'll come visit you, okay?
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Everything shared will be in the description of the episode, so you can go and grab that. Now, if you enjoyed the show and you want to listen to more, please subscribe, because every week we're releasing new episodes with inspiring people, successful people, so you can level up your game. So subscribe and also leave us a review. We'd love to hear feedback about the show and your thoughts and opinions there as well. Now, if you want to have more success, whether it's in your life, whether it's in your business, we run live trainings every single week where you can get access to me to coach you through everything from health, wealth, success, business. We're doing topics on all things that you need to live a better, more inspired and successful life. Live trainings every single week. Just visit jamesneilsonwatt.com/live and you can get access to that. Now, there's also a ton of resources that you get for just listening to the show. All of that will be in the description. So if you're watching this on YouTube, check the description. If you're listening to this episode, check the description. We've got a load of resources there for you to have more success in your life, whether it's relationships, investing, or in business. I'll see you on the next episode. And as always, subscribe, leave a review, and tell your friends, because there's somebody else that needs to be hearing this, and maybe you're their opportunity to help them level up their game.